All right, we are live.
All right.
All right, uh, ladies and gentlemen, this is Corner Chat with Babalogy, and always an interesting time on the show where we get experts to discuss on varying issues ranging from business to career to relationship to health and so many more. A time where we get to learn from their experiences, how they've been able to go from a low time where they were to the stage where they are now. Always a time of motivation, a time where you will be educated, and a time where you are going to be inspired on the show. And today it's an amazing time because I have young experts on the show. Very young, experienced experts indeed. And we are dealing with an amazing topic, dealing with modern parenting and the future impact on the children, on the child, the male child or the female child. Without any further ado, I want to introduce my guest this very afternoon, but I would like to tell you if you are new to this channel, kindly click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will be notified whenever we post other amazing videos. I have with me on the show today amazing young experts. I'll start with the lady because always ladies first, you know. I have with me Miss Nancy Lucy on the show this very afternoon to do justice to the topic we have on ground. And I have with me an amazing young man. I'll tell you guys, he's still very single, very, very single. But you have to reach me first before you can reach him. There's no other person than Mr. Humphrey Anyaba. I'm very happy to have you guys on the show this very afternoon.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir.
Nena, thank you for coming. Nena, can you hear me? Nena, can you hear me? Ezra, can you hear me?
Of course, I can hear you, sir.
I don't know if Nena can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Nena, can you hear me? There is yeah, voice interference from the background. I don't know if it's from you, Ezra. I think it's from Nena
No,
as
it's
well.
from Nena. It's from Lucy.
I don't think she can hear me.
I don't think so. Nena, can you hear us?
Thank you.
Can
Thank
you
you for
hear us?
having me.
Can you hear us now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you
I
very well.
can.
Can you hear us, right?
Hello,
Yes, we can
can you
hear
hear
you. Can you
me?
hear us?
Yes.
Yes, you can hear me too.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Nena, there is a background noise where you are.
I can hear you.
There is a background noise where you are, Nena.
Hello?
There
Yes,
is
I
a noise
can.
where you are,
Can
background
you hear
noise where
me?
you are.
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
I
you.
can. Can anyone hear me or see me?
Austin, can you hear me?
Hello?
Austin, we are with
Yeah,
Austin,
you.
can
can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me now?
Yes.
Nena, we can hear you.
So let's continue.
Austin, can you hear me?
Of course.
Yes, I can hear everybody. I even hear the background noises.
I'm
So
glad
let's
to have every
continue.
one of you on the show.
I guess I missed the introductory part.
And that I'll still
Okay.
introduce you.
All
All
right.
right.
It It will be a pleasure.
When Nena comes, we have to bring her in also.
All right.
All right, I have my third guest on the show. I've introduced two, remaining one, and he's no other person than Mr. Ogeina Austin, or you just call him
Which kind of
Black
language?
Austin. All right, Black Austin. Austin, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Black Austin.
Oh.
Hello, good afternoon.
All right, that's Nena is coming on. All right, Nena is on.
Yeah.
Nena, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear
You can
me?
hear me? Yes, very clear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very clear.
I can hear. Okay, you can. All right. So you can hear me now, right?
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
God, all of us online.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you,
All
Babalogy. I
right.
can hear you. I can hear you. Then
We can
Nabisi.
hear you.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Now we are
Yeah,
talking
let's
about.
begin. Just skip the introductory part. Don't introduce me anymore. Just go straight to the point.
All right. We are talking about modern parenting and
Yeah.
its future impact on the child. Before we start talking about the impact modern parenting is having on a child or is going to have on a child, I think it will be best for us to establish um, a ground on parenting. What is actually parenting? Before we now talking about the impact, of course, for us to be talking about modern parenting, it simply means we also have parenting in old time. So we're trying to juxtapose both of them. But first of all, let's establish a ground on parenting. What is actually parenting? And what does parenting actually do in the life of a child?
Yes.
Let's give in the platform. Ladies first.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can I go ahead and answer the question?
All right, go ahead, Austin. Do well.
All right. If you
Yes.
all can hear me, I can. In my own personal opinion, I think parenting is just a role performed by an adult. Hello. Is anyone
Yes, go
hearing me?
ahead. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. Parenting is just a role performed by an adult. An adult could be anyone. Is not exclusively for biologically related
Hey.
adults to
All
the
right.
child. Now,
Actually, if you are to talk about parenting, I think we have to start with. You can hear me, right? I think you have to
Yes.
start with who a parent. Okay, so a parent dictionary, the dictionary say that a parent is a person, a female or a male that begets or raises a child and nurtures the child. So the the act of being a parent is parenting. So the act of begetting a child and raising and nurturing the child is parenting.
All right. Thank you very much for
Okay,
that
I don't know. Can
contribution.
you hear me?
Very well. Yes. Austin, you were saying
Yeah.
something. Austin, can you hear me? All right, Ezra, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, what is the Elena has been able to tell us who a parent is and what parenting is, the art of bringing up and nurturing a child, playing that fatherly
Okay.
role and that
Did you
motherly
hear
role.
what I said?
Oh, yes,
Okay. So
yes, it's okay. All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
No, Nena, can you hear me? I think Nina's network is backdating.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
those 1985 network. By then it called 2023.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think we should continue this fight. Let's continue. Time
Yes.
is not yes.
Time is not our friend here.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, Eze, what is the role of parenting on a child? What is the role in the overall upbringing of the child?
Well, I can easily say that the role is remodeling the child and patterning the life of a
No
child.
life.
That is what I call parenting, patterning the life of a child. So the role of the parent should be telling the child what to do, and when the child goes the wrong way, they correct the child. So it's a kind of training and correction character or attitude from the side of the parent towards a kid or towards a child. The role of the parent is to pattern the life of a child. When we take it both from the biblical axis and the human axis, even to the
Mariam.
so-called atheists, they understand that for someone to be a parent, that means the person is an educator to the child. So the role of the parent is to educate a child morally, traditionally, spiritually, all-round education. That's the role of a parent to a child.
Wow, thank you very much, Prof. I said Prof. Humphrey. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that analysis. Okay,
All right.
now we are talking about, can we all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. Now we are talking about modern parenting.
Yes.
I want us to juxtapose it with old method of parenting. All right.
Yeah.
How do we differentiate? How do we reconcile the old method of parenting and the new one today? Humphrey, let's start with you.
Okay, well, how do we differentiate between the old parenting and the new one, the modern parenting?
Yes.
Is that your question, sir?
Yes, if we have a modern one, then there should be an old one.
Okay, I can easily say in some few times, the old parenting, what they paid attention to is not what the modern parents are paying attention to. The old parents, they were so strict to an extent that they don't permit any error. And some of those errors that they do not permit during their own time is now what we see as fashion these days, is now what we see as modernized way of living these days. So, and the modern parents, what they now do is to imbibe this as an attitude, and they allow their kids to follow that pattern. But the old parents, there are certain things they do not allow. Just directly, it's almost directly opposite to what the parents of nowadays allow. So I can easily say that there are some principles that the old parents had then, but these days parents, they do not have it. I can give an example of that.
All right, Nena, can you hear me?
I prepare for this thing. Stop like this.
Nena, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Humphrey has been able to tell us. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Nena, can you
Yes,
refresh your
yes, I
network?
can. It's actually steady.
It's steady, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Okay, I asked a question that if we are talking about modern parenting, there must be an old one.
Yes.
How can we put them together? How can we differentiate the modern parenting from the old method of parenting? What can we describe as an old method of parenting before we talk about a new one?
Just like you said, for there to be a new method of parenting, there was an old method of parenting. But looking
Exactly.
at the graduation of parenting, method of parenting, like from the olden days all till now, you find out that the graduation, the evolution is also due to the evolution in, because like both technology, the world now is not as it was before. So there have been
Okay.
evolution in virtually everything, including parenting, because you
Mm.
cannot be using the same method that you use when our forefathers we are living in the mud house, and there is definitely no network. You cannot still use that same method now with all the exposure and everything. So the old and the new method is the new came because of the evolution that has come to the world. So we've
Okay.
been trying to adjust. Definitely, yes, we've been trying to adjust. But one thing is that when you look at the old method of parenting, you find out that there are good, like good things that we could actually learn from them. But there is also a flaw there. And now there is actually a good part of it though, but there is still a flaw there. So so you
All right.
asked like you okay, you asked if whether how I can describe, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't really stay, okay, I didn't really stay during the days of our forefathers, during the war and all of that. But I did have my own time. So I would say that my parents are modern parents though. But looking at the method, looking at the method of they used for me and the method of now, there is actually a difference.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Perfectly. Very well. Can you hear me too?
Oh, yes, yes. All right. So need to say that I should describe
All right.
what is like, okay? There is
Yes.
an example of the difference is actually the freedom, the liberty. Yes, I
Yeah.
would talk about that. Just like Humphrey, Humphrey said about they were most and all of that. Yes, they were. And though there is actually a side to the strictness, and yes, there is a side to it because okay, let me just focus on one part, but there is a side to it. But just like he said,
All right.
uh, there is actually the liberty that's been given to us, like the new modern parents, the liberty that you could say is not good for the child. Okay.
Mhm.
All
And
right.
not
Nina, thank
just in the
you.
freedom. Hello?
Yes. Can hear you.
I don't
We
know.
can hear you. We can hear
Okay.
you. Can you hear
So
me? Yeah.
yeah, so the difference is actually there. So just like I don't know if I'm supposed to like list out the difference,
No, no, no.
describe
It's fine.
a typical
No, it's fine. You've answered very well. And I
parent. All
want to
right.
ask, parenting.
Okay.
No, I'm speaking to all of us now. Is it just the duty of your parent? I want to know. Let's get to clarification. Because you stay with your parents, of course, there's a place where you go to learn, there's a place where you go to get religious instruction, and so many other places you go to. Can we say
Yes.
that parenting is strictly the role of our parents, or so many persons are involved? And what do we do about that? Mr. Austin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
All right. Can you help us?
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Very well.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Very
Should
well.
I
We can
go
hear
on?
you.
Yes.
Yes, please go on.
Okay. If you can hear me,
Yes,
can you hear me?
we can hear
Austin, go
you.
ahead. Go
Can you
ahead.
not
Go
hear me?
ahead. We
The
can hear
Humphrey,
you.
can you hear me?
Go ahead. We
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, parenting is just a role. Is a role. It's unlimited to biological relationships. It's not just the biological parents. And any adult can be a parent to any child. Are you getting me?
Okay.
It's not limited, it's unlimited to biological relationships. If I'm an adult, I have a responsibility to a child somewhere or within, depending. You get so any child, any adult anywhere has a parental responsibility to a child somewhere. It's unlimited to biological relationships. I think that answers the question. Let's move ahead, please.
Okay. If we say,
Hello, can you hear me?
I want to ask, if we say it is not strictly biological relationship, why do
Yes.
we always give kudos to the parents? If the child is good, it is the parents' fault. If the child is bad, it is to the parents' fault. Why that dichotomy? Eze,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I get your question. Okay, Eze, I think you can say something on that.
on this platform, that's not my name, and I will give justice to that. Um, Actually, there's a reason why we blame the biological parents
yeah,
in the sense that it is their primary responsibility. In as much as anybody can parent anyone, any child, it is the primary role of the biological parents to parent a child, to train up a child in the way the child should go. So any
okay,
other person is playing a secondary role. So if there's any flaw, if there's
Exactly.
any error,
Exactly.
if there's any misconduct, we are going to hold the biological parents responsible. So the question
uh,
will not be who parented this child. The question will be who are the biological parents to this child. So it's their primary role, it's their primary responsibility. So that is why we hold them responsible. Anything that goes wrong, they are in charge. They are the cause.
I
Except the
I
case
think
where they are
I
no
have
longer alive.
something
That's
to
what I
say
can
on
say.
that.
all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Humphrey.
Hello, can
Let me
anyone hear
apologize.
me?
Okay. All right, we can hear you, Austin. Go ahead.
Austin, go ahead.
Can I just
We can. Okay. Um. Now, having talked about the old parenting and now the modern parenting and their characteristics, I want us to go straight into today's discourse. Modern parenting. What are the characteristics of modern parenting today? Before we now start talking about their impact, let's learn their characteristics first. Before we now start talking about the impact on the future of a particular child. The
Uh,
Humphrey.
okay, I can easily say that one of the characteristics is, let me say, they are so hoodwinked to technology. They are technologically minded. The modern
see
parents, they
question
are
where I sabi the answer?
technologically minded. Number two, they are fashion minded. I'll start from number one, being technologically minded. Just like Nenda Lucy said while she was
Well,
talking about the differences between modern parenting and the old pattern of parenting. The old ones, they were not so much opportuned to enjoy the massive improvement we have today, the technological advancement we have today. But the modern parents, they so much enjoy it. So one of the characteristics, one of the ways we can know them, one of the features we can use to identify them is the technological mindset. And this technological mindset is one of the things they now use as a training, as a benchmark, as a foundation to train a child on how the child should go. Number two is fashion. The modern parents, they so much have this fashion-like attitude. They have fashion as a mindset. So anytime they are relating with a child, they have fashion in mind. So these key things are one of the characteristics of the modern parents. And these two key things are lacking in the old ways of parenting.
All right. I agree. Okay. Fashion and something you said again.
Technological advancement, technological
Okay.
mindset.
Now, technological mindset and the fashion mindset. Okay, Mr.
Austin.
Austin.
Yeah. I think I have something to say on that. Can you all
Go
hear me?
ahead, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Um oh, Dissecting the various styles of parenting. There is the
Mm-hmm.
authoritative style, there's the authoritarian style, there's the
Mm-hmm.
permissive style, there's the uninvolved style, and then there's the intrusive style. Yeah.
Okay.
Then when you start breaking it down to old ways of parenting and modern ways of parenting, we all can
Mm-hmm.
agree that parenting has changed. Definitely, everything has changed, including parenting. And
Okay.
Okay.
what type of change has it undergone over the years? It depends on the way we look at it. We choose to look at it. You can call it negative change, you can call it positive change, but it has changed. That's the major thing. You get?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. There are some parents. It changed as a result of historical, cultural, or social preferences. Or you can choose to put wealth. The way a rich person chooses to raise his or her child is different from the way a poor person chooses to raise his or her child. Is different. Can you get what I'm saying? Hello, are you there?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So social class is also responsible for the way we choose to raise our child. Some people, though the authoritative is the most proven effective and positive way to raise a child, and most people still indulge in that, but majority indulge in impressive, intrusive, and authoritarian and uninvolved way as a result of the way society has changed over the years. Uninvolved way in the sense that, working class now, they work, they don't have time. So mostly they are uninvolved in the way their child is raised. They are not even there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know anything. They just go to work and come back and pay for their child to be raised. They pay nannies and
All
other
right.
caregivers. Get Let me not mention them until we get to the effects it has in the future.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
there is
Okay.
the
Yeah.
authoritarian way. That's when you talk
Mm.
about strict parents. We still have strict parents, them up and all that. And then there's still consequences on that. I won't mention it till when we get to the effects. There's still those that
Okay.
a child to do anything they want. Those ones are things that, punishment is not the way. They try to give their child free will and
But
freedom and
Austin,
all
but
that.
Austin,
Hello?
do you know
I can hear you.
if we say there are changes, if we start saying there are changes, and I know Nana Lucy mentioned technology, and I mentioned it as well, and I mentioned fashion. Do you
Yes?
know that I think the major cause of
Yes?
these parents, because every parent are technological advanced these days, but in the midst of that, there are
Yes.
still parents that train with that old pattern. Do you know?
I know clearly.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
there are
now, now,
still
now,
parents
see,
that indulge
I,
in the
I think one of the reasons why everything has just changed is exposure. Exposure. Austin, you now growing up like this, and
okay.
I know
Our
you,
level of
and then
exposure, yeah. Yeah.
we know ourselves. Hold on, we know ourselves, and you know the environment you and I we are growing in. So the way we are going to raise our
Yeah.
kids, even though technology has so much advanced, we are going to imbibe that old pattern, and you know we are going to imbibe it. The timing to come back at home and all that, we're going to imbibe it. So I think it's about exposure.
Mm.
Where the parents of these kids were raised matters a lot. So let's not, I think we should
Yes.
not even
Uh,
lay much hold on
yeah.
technology and all that. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Environment matters a lot. You talked about exposure. I think that should be like
Exposure, yeah,
environment,
exposure.
which
Exactly.
which is which still boils down to culture. Which still boils down to culture. Are you getting me? Edwards.
Individual culture, community culture.
Individual culture.
Thank you.
Do you agree?
Some
There
to
is
some
an
extent.
individual
Lenny, do you
culture.
agree to that? Nena, Lucy, do you agree to that? I don't know.
Hello.
All right.
I'm done.
Uh, I, all right. Can you hear? Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Now. Okay. I understood what all of us said. talking about exposure and the way our parents were raised. Now, it is clear that it is the way you are raised, looking that if the way you are raised is helping you, then I think you need to copy that to train your children. Is that what
Mhm.
we are saying?
Exactly,
And
exactly.
if it is not
Yeah,
helping you,
exactly.
if it's not helping you, you have the liberty to change it to a pattern that will favor your children. So they don't
Exactly,
make the same
exactly.
mistakes your parents.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Am I good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, 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 sir.
All right. Now I want to ask now, because we are trying to calculate and work with time. What are some of the wrong parenting decisions we think our modern day parents are making that may not have a good impact on our child, on our children, on our modern day children? Some wrong parenting decisions we think that our modern day parents are taking or making that may not have a good impact on the children. Yes, Mr. Austin.
Okay, I think personally, my own opinion, I think they should cease from the authoritarian role of parenting.
Okay.
In other words, the strict rule when they try to control the child. We all know that those methods don't work anymore. Good afternoon.
Oh, why?
Those
Okay.
methods
Why
don't
did you
work
say so?
anymore, and
Why did
they
you say
have serious negative consequences.
okay?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Yeah, they should cease from the strict way of controlling children. We all know that this 21st century, you get
Mhm.
Yeah.
children don't wise up. Days don't pass where you tell a child everything and you don't have an explanation to it. You just say simply because I say so. Children will ask you why. You tell them don't do this, they will ask you why. You can't just say because I say so. You have to have an explanation to everything you tell a child not to do and an explanation to every you get, and it will sink deep. When you can't tell the
Um,
child don't go out, and when the child will say don't go out, why? And you tell the child because I said so. That doesn't explain it. You get what I'm saying? You have to tell the child don't go
Yes.
out because this will happen to you, this will happen to you, and then okay, don't go out. Then the child understands. Are you getting what I'm saying? So there should be
Yes.
an explanation to everything we tell our children not to do and to do. Are you getting me? There should be a level,
Yes.
a balance to parents and child responsiveness. Are you getting
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Very well.
There should be a balance. Yes.
all right,
So
All
that's
all
right.
right.
what I think.
Let's hear from Humphrey.
I think Nana should talk to us before she goes for a meeting.
Okay, Nina, let's get a contribution.
Yes. Sorry, what's the quarantine being on and off? So what
Nina,
exactly?
the question is, what are some of the wrong parenting decisions our modern day parents make that may affect negatively the child?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're focusing on the modern parenting and
Yeah.
some of the mistakes they are making now
Yeah.
is one, I would say that in the era that we are in, there is this
Mhm.
exposure that we have now.
Yeah.
So the the mistake some of our modern parents are making now is giving the child so much liberty to the exposure, not
Mm.
being able to curtail some of, because in as much as the internet is there now, and even
Mhm.
without the knowledge of a parent, a child could be viewing pornography, for example, or just going to sites that the parents are not even aware of, which is very, very harmful for the mind and the growth of the child. So I would say that the major one is that liberty should be,
Yeah.
but you have to give a child a space to be an individual on his own. But you as a parent now act as his guide, to help and direct exactly what the child is being exposed to. So that's the first.
Okay.
That's
I'm not
the
going to move
first
around.
mistake.
If not talk
Yeah.
to us, no one give.
And then um talking about mistakes, I would also we are in this digital era, and we actually still have parents that still tell children, this is what you're supposed to study, this is what, like, I was talking with a parent, I think, during this strike, or okay, this Christmas period, and she was like telling me, yes, one of my parents that think like that in this era. But yes, we do have parents that think like that. So one of the mistake is, enforcing. There is this. I think they themselves as a parents should actually have an exposure of what's happening in this era, to know how to guide their children, because you cannot have a mandate. This is what you're supposed to do, and some don't really give their children that liberty to get exposed to certain skills, and this is actually a part of ignorance on the parents, because they are really ignorant of what's happening. So I think that's also part of it, because just like parents are like teachers, and the student of a teacher is limited to the limitation of the parents. Do you understand? So if the
Yeah.
parents is not growing themselves, they cannot help the child to grow as an individual that can fit in into the era that we are launching into. So the parents themselves should also be a student to be able to guide and teach the children well enough
Mm.
to be a lead, because it's actually very easy to fade out of relevance in this era that we are in. So if the parents are not learned enough, if they are not growing themselves personally, they cannot help the child navigate through their own issues and all.
Thank you
Let
very much.
me
All right,
let me
Austin.
add something to that.
I
Okay.
still have
Okay.
something to
Can I?
say. Can you all hear me?
No, I think let's sorry, Mr. Humphrey. Let's hear from Mr. Austin.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Very
go
well.
ahead.
Yes.
Good. 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 I also think this issue of like what our modern parents should do to make it
Mm.
easier to raise children with better opportunities in the future. I think well parents should stop comparing their children with
Yes.
stances on their kids. I'll give you
Mm.
an instance.
Yes.
I won't give you an example of parents should
Yes.
stop comparing their kids. We all know that one is obvious. They
It's
should stop
clear.
comparison. You compare your child with this person's child and all those things. We all know it's bad. But I'll give you an instance of overimposing things on our kids that you expect too much of your child. You know fully well that your child cannot study this particular course. And then you are pushing your child. You even pay, for parents that pay for their kids to study professional courses. That one is an example, is a typical example of overimposition. We all know our kids, we know their capabilities mentally, we know what they can do, but
Yes.
then we go extra mile, we try to. I think that should stop. Yeah, that one has a very negative influence in the future of kids. Is very bad. I think that one should stop. Are you getting me?
Mm.
Then
Yes.
then on the issue of permissiveness, we should stop permitting our kids to do everything based on our emotional feelings.
Yeah.
Because you love a child.
Yes.
Loving a child doesn't mean permitting the child to do everything the child wants to do. There should be limits. I get what I'm saying.
Mm.
Sound free.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yes. So putting limits to what kids ask for is also a way of showing that you love a child, even though the child might not understand at that moment. It's only you, the
Yes.
parents, that knows the good that you are doing to the child. So that one, I think that one too should be imbibed. And parents that don't do that, I think they should stop and start doing it. Yes, don't allow your child to do everything because of your emotional feelings. Yeah. the issue of permissiveness should stop, and the issue of comparison and over imposure should stop. And
Mm.
that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think I
All
should
right.
add to what she
All right.
just said. She
Yes,
made a very valid point.
you've done very, very well. That's a very valid point there. Mr. Humphrey, you want to say a few things?
Well, what I can say is that I don't know if my face can become so bold now. Let me be mentioning it. When we come to modern parenting, I disagree with
This guy
being
again.
strict or being strict on a child. The mistake
Okay.
we are making is timing. In
Mm.
as much as the modern parents are so much educated and exposed, I think there are timing for everything, for every level of training, every
Mm.
level of attitude that should be given
Yes.
to a child.
Mm.
Psychologically, we have it that anything, if you cannot curtail a child for good 7 years, from birth to 7 years, you have spoiled a child.
Mm.
And then where the parents miss it is after 7 years, they now say this child is going the wrong way. They will now start the attitude of this one, this my child, the other one, and then all that. Parents should be strict on their children. I'm among
Mm.
those saying it. They should be
Mm.
strict on them. But the thing is this: the strictness should be from birth to 7 years. If you can be strict enough on them, from 8 years, you can now start allowing them in some certain things. I tell you, by so doing, you are going to make great children. My own
Mm.
children, when they will come, I'm going to be very strict. From birth till 7 years, I must be strict on you. I
Mm.
must tell you the old patterns of living. I wasn't raised like that.
This
7
guy.
p.m. I am back home. My parents, the commandment. I must tell my child the same thing. In as much as we are in a modern world, parents should be strict on their children. Very
Mm.
strict. A child should have a fear for the parents. These days, children don't fear parents anymore. They don't.
Mm.
They say it's mommy, they call them popsy and dadsy and momsy and all that. These things doesn't make sense to me. And when they thought, they say I'm an archaic man. I am an archaic man in as that I'm raising a nice kid, nice children that will change their own environment.
Hey,
I think
God.
that's what I have to say.
Oh, sorry.
So
All right.
I'm trying, excuse me.
I don't know. But it's reality. It's reality. It's reality.
Yes, yes.
I have something to say. Oh. Can you guys
I
say
don't
Don't
know.
say
anything?
anything as regards that. Unless we'll
All
not
right.
dismiss here today. Don't say
I
anything
would
as
I
regards
would
that.
like
Be strict.
Wait,
Talk to
wait. I have
them.
something to say. Wait.
I
Hello.
Okay,
actually
I learned
understand.
Austin was saying something. Austin was saying
Yeah.
that they at least
I
their
understand.
attitude should be explained to them. Yes, explain the
Yes,
attitude, give the reason why you are saying some things. But
Mm.
exactly.
as a parent,
Everything
it's not
should be
everything
explained.
you give reason for. It's not everything you give
No,
reason for.
no.
Start
These
from
modern
beginning,
times.
cultivate a culture in the life of these children.
Mm.
When we talk about freedom, what is freedom? What is freedom? What is freedom? That parents are not giving their children the space, and they are giving too much space. Modern parenting. We should be talking about higher percentage
Okay.
of
I
parents.
have.
All right. Yeah, let's hear from Miss Nena. Miss Nena, you can go ahead.
I actually kind of. All right. I kind of understand the place that Humphrey is coming from, actually,
Okay.
but in addition to what you said, the thing is that first off, just there is a point that Mr. Austin made. He said about comparing, though he said comparing children to children, but what I have about comparison is comparing how you were parented or how your parents were parented versus how you are going to parent your own children, because you cannot be like, it's just the part of, yes, we do have, I think, like, imperfect parenting is born because we have imperfect parents, because we are imperfect humans, you understand? So you were talking about not giving too much space and to children and all of that. I totally understand that, Sir Humphrey, but you also have like a place where, you know, you were talking about fear, living in fear of a child.
No,
I
no, no. That's
think
not what I'm saying. That's not what I
if
said.
I Sorry, I'm sorry. Leaving it like that, children don't fear their parents anymore.
Not like
So I think I
masquerade,
would like to
not like
say it.
masquerade.
I think maybe the right word could be reverence or something like that. Because
Beyond
if we are to
respect,
use the
fear is
word
an advanced
fear,
level of respect.
like normally on normal psychological reverence, that's what I said. Beyond fear is not a good thing. It's not a good thing to actually, it's not a good thing for a child to fear the parents. A child can
I think that's a
reverence the
strong point.
parents. He can
Yes.
he can reverence the parents, he
Issue
can
of
respect the
children
parent,
fearing
but
their
it is not
parents
a
is
good
wrong.
thing psychologically for a child
Philomena
to
has a
fear the
valid point.
parents. Because how are you going to impact your child? How are you going to influence where? That's why how you see some people that are, they can't even, like, because of the way they were parented, they were afraid of a lot of things, and
Okay.
you now push them out to the world. They can't face the world.
Exactly.
It affects
Can
them
we chip it in? Let
psychologically.
me chip in
So what I'm
something.
trying
Let me
to
chip in
say is
something.
She made
that
a very valid point,
you have
Humphrey.
I understand.
actually there
I'm
are
coming.
some there are sorry sir, I'm not yet. So the parent, so what, as I was saying, the parents, like, I've had a point where, I was kind of, and especially the fathers, you find out that some people are not really, because when you look at the way a father parents, because the father is a bit soft with the daughter is more inclined to the father, but the father is inclined to their mother. So the thing is that if a father, a male figure of a family poses that you as my child should fear me, you will not know what is happening in your child's side, because a child can pose in your presence, but then you won't really know who your child is. If you are to impose them, you must fear me, you must do what I no. I think
Then
that's
just to
actually
conclude,
part
That's
of,
a
conclude.
valid point
like,
from
and
Onena. I
where some of
totally
the
agree with her.
is
Austin,
like,
I know you support it. Wait, I'm coming.
all right. So in conclusion, what I'm
Very good.
sorry, what I'm saying is that parenting is supposed to be a relationship. For it to be
Mm.
a success, for it to birth, because the men, as I said earlier, a parent nurtures and raises a child to become a great individual in a society. So for a parent, for that purpose to be achieved, a parent should establish a relationship. And if there is fear,
Critical.
even the Bible says there is
Correct.
no fear in love. I mean, there is no, like, if you, like, you have to tremble, like, how are you really going to access your child? How are you going to influence him to be the person that you are aspiring that your child should be? So it's not, the relationship between your child and you shouldn't be that of fear. The respect should be there, but the love should be, the love should be evident. That's what I have to say. You don't
Uh,
expect your child to fear
let
you.
me,
It's
Lucy,
not
Lucy,
a
let me
good
chip
Alright,
in
thing
something within the next 30
for
seconds.
me.
okay.
Next 30 seconds. Let me use next 30 seconds to say something about this before we move on.
The open can hear you.
I know a man, anytime the children sight that the man is coming back, all of them run away. All of them will enter the bedroom and start sleeping, automatic sleeping, because the father is around. That is what you think I meant by fear. That's just a summary of what you think I meant by fear.
No,
No. The Bible says we should fear the Lord. You know, when you take that
exactly.
biblical
That's what it
context,
standard by.
and now that biblical context doesn't mean whenever we hear of God, we should run away. No. And that's the kind of fear I mean. Fear in the sense that whenever you want to do something, you remember your father. No. You remember your mother. No. You say no to that. Do you understand me? So my own children, when, okay, you say we should not, the way our parents raised us, we should not use as a measure to raise our own children. I now have a question. If the way I was raised was superb and great, then I should imbibe it, have it as a pattern,
Yes.
and then
Okay.
add to it, and then nurture my own children.
Okay.
If it is wrong, I drop some. Daddy was very strict,
Thank
extremely
you.
strict.
Yeah,
But we don't
exactly.
fear him. But we don't fear
Exactly.
him. We don't fear him like that, like
Yes.
running away and all that. We understood that this was at our initial stage of growing. Do you know when we come back those days by 7 p.m., in fact, you can't even come back straight home. You have to branch. You have to branch to a woman that will now carry you and bring you back home. That's the kind of fear. Because this is my daddy's principle. He doesn't like it. Today, it doesn't happen again. Because of this relationship we're talking about, a child can comfortably walk in and the daddy will tell the person, say, daddy, try to understand. You try to. My own kids, I will not do it. I won't.
All right.
I have something to say. Can you all hear me?
All right. Very, very
I don't
quickly.
know.
Very quickly.
Are we dwelling on?
Mr. Austin.
Okay. Yes, I get Humphrey's point. He's making a valid point clearly.
That's what's
But
spoiling everything.
this goes down to different styles of parenting. Are you getting me? There is the
Yes.
authoritative style, there is the authoritarian style, uninclusive style, uninvolved style, and impressive style. This style Humphrey is talking now is the authoritarian style, where parents are
Austin,
so
this is not
strict.
grammar. This is not grammar. Go straight to the point. Tell us. This is not grammar.
Okay.
Just straight to the point.
All right. It just boils down to different styles of parenting. Some parents prefer having an explanation to everything they tell their kids to do. Because this is 21st century. Kids are wiser. Odrozika those days. Okay, sorry. If they ask you, be like, because I say so. There has to be an explanation. You can't just say because I say so. Don't do this. Why? You tell them why. Don't do this. Why? You tell them why. Do this. Why? You tell them why. You can't be strict on your kids all the damn time. That's all I'm saying. This is 21st century.
All right,
I get
Mr.
me.
Austin. Yes, very
All
well.
right.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Your contributions are very valid, from Mr. Austin, from Mr. Austin, from Miss Nena, very, very valid. In everything, love should lead. But you don't over pamper a child. That's what Mr. Austin is saying. Also, Mr. Austin,
Yeah.
Mr. Humphrey, you don't over pamper a child, so the child does not begin to do what you don't expect from that particular child. And also, you are not over strict on a child. Everything we are doing should be balanced. Whether you love a child, balanced. You're strict on a child, everything has to be balanced. So we have to maintain a balance in our parenting. That is what we are saying. If you over pamper, you spoil the child. If you are too strict, the child begins to fear you. You no longer know your child. You won't know your child anymore if you're too strict on that particular child. But in any case, the way you were brought up, if you enjoy it, then bring up your kids like that. And the Bible says, train up a child in the way the child should go, so that when the child is old, he or she will not depart from it. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
It is. If you look at today, anywhere they say you don't beat the child, you have destroyed that child completely. You are destroying that child. If the child does wrong and it requires a corrective measure of flogging, go ahead and flog that child very well. It will help that child. It will not kill that child. All right. We want to go to the next question. What are the impacts? Our time is fast spent. What are the impacts, the future impact of modern parenting methods? What are the consequences of modern parenting method?
Okay.
All right, Mr. Austin, let's hear from you. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on this. When I'm going to go with the freestyle of parenting, when you permit your kids, you give them a free hand to do what they like as when they like to do it. You give them a free hand, just go ahead, do what you want. Whatever you do is okay by me. The consequence is this: when these kids grow up, they run away from responsibilities because they will always expect their parents to show up. because you're always there for them from the beginning. They always want you to continue being there for them. Even when they get married and they have issue, they will still call their parents. This is a very big problem. And most of them even go as far as using substance abuse. The impact is so bad, you can even visibly see it in current society today. Are you getting me? When the parents is always involved, you see a married man still calling the parents to come and solve problem in the marriage. These are problems of modern parenting. There is a fault somewhere on the foundation. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Humphrey, do you have anything to say?
Can you please pardon the question?
What are the impacts of modern day parenting, the future impact of modern day parenting?
The modern day parenting, the impact it will have, the future impacts, right?
Future impact, it could be positive, it could be negative.
Okay, well, one of the future impacts is that if we future impacts, I don't know this question. There is, in fact, it's the way I understand it involves many things. Future impact.
Yeah.
Future impact. Okay, is it like consequences?
Exactly, consequences.
Okay, well, if because I'm saying this thing based on statistics, the modern day parents, if we take high percentage of them are getting things wrong, and if we continue like this, we are producing a naked very soon.
Come again,
a naked generation is what we are raising very soon. We are raising generations that will be devoid of respect. Respect, no longer respect for elder. Average child today, try to correct them, they will ask you, are you my mom, are you my dad, what's your business, and all that.
Exactly.
I watched a clip, a kind of video, where somebody was correcting a lady, and he's telling the lady to go home and change. The lady was almost half naked. He said, go home and change, go home and change, go home and change. And he mentioned something. How come your parents allowed you to come out with this? If the modern parenting we have now continue, because greater number of people are getting it wrong, then in near future, we
hello, can I say something?
Mr. Humphrey's network is bad. Let's hear from you, Mr. Austin.
All right, thank you very much. I'm speaking based on what Mr. Humphrey said. I agree 100% with what he's saying. In this issue, we are allowed to commit fallacy of generalization because a greater percentage of parents are getting it wrong. In fact, more than 70%. And in psychology, when an issue exceeds 70%, you are permitted to commit a fallacy of generalization. So it's permitted to say that parents, more than 90% of parents are getting it wrong. It's permitted to say anybody that says that is correct now in this age. And the results can obviously be seen everywhere in the society today. And this produces children that have low self-esteem. You see the child cannot stand up and speak for his or herself. They run away from responsibilities, they miss opportunities and all that, producing a naked generation, just like Humphrey rightly said. And it's very bad. It's very bad. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Austin. All right, Miss Nana, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
We're talking about the impact, the future impact.
I would like to quickly leave, so I don't know if there is any question you would want me to ask. Yes, I can.
Okay.
I said I would like. Sorry, I said I'll quickly leave, so I don't know if there is any, any last thing I should say, because I'm already late to the meeting I'm supposed to.
All right. Okay, we're talking about the future impact of modern day parenting method.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
The future impact.
I can't hear you.
Modern day. Can you hear me now? No, mommy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Mr. Austin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Nana, I said the future impact of modern day parenting method.
Can she hear us?
I don't think so. Okay. All right.
I,
Let's do it like this.
let's just continue. Let's move ahead.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we've already beat the time. On a flat
Yeah.
note now, what will be our advice to modern day parents? Let's close with that. Our advice to modern day parents with regards to parenting.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that parents should just find a balance to child responsiveness and parental control. Yes, there should be a balance between child responsiveness
I'm
and parental
sorry.
control, especially at this period. Especially at this period, there should be a balance. Gone are the days when you are too strict
I
on
have
on your
to.
kids as a parent, and gone are the days when you are too soft on them. There has to just be a balance to produce children that can function well in this current generation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. There should be a balance
All
in
right.
child
Um,
responsiveness and parental control.
Okay. Nana, can you hear me now?
sorry. I would have to take my leave now.
It's fine.
Yes, I said I'll have
It's
to
fine.
take my leave now.
Okay. It's
Can you
fine.
hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you? Yeah.
I can
So
hear
I
you.
don't know. Maybe if you have any last thing for me or something, because like I'm really okay.
Yeah, I said, what's your advice?
All
Advice to
right.
modern day
Thank you so
parents.
much for having me. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, okay. I said I'll have to take my leave now. Thank you so much for
It's
having me. I appreciate your work and what you are doing. It
You're welcome.
is
You're welcome. Thank you so much. All right. Ezra, can you hear me? Humphrey,
okay.
can you hear me?
Advice to modern parents.
Exactly.
Okay, yes.
Is actually just okay. You have something else to say?
Go ahead. Nina's network is 1930. All right, Ezra, on a closure, what's your advice to modern day parents?
What?
Humphrey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Should I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead so that we can wrap it up.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
what I can say is that they should strike a balance.
Mm,
If they are Christians, we have biblical patterns. If they are Muslims, they still have their Muslim pattern and all that.
yeah.
And every of these pattern demands that parents raise their child in an accurate way. So
Mm,
I would advise parents, don't be too strict, but don't give over freedom to your kids.
mm,
Establish working rules for them and make sure
mm,
that these rules are properly executed in love. That's what I
mm,
can say for now. And they should watch their fashion, the way they value fashion. Such should not be impacted to kids because they will
mm,
they will really misunderstand it entirely. So
mm.
that's what I can say for now. A balance should be struck.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. It is Corner Chat with Babalogy, and I've had the privilege of having three amazing guests on my show this very afternoon. It's been an amazing time hearing from Humphrey, hearing from Black Austin, hearing from Nena, share knowledge, and argue. Argue, you disagree to agree. It's been an amazing time. I'm really happy having us on the show. It is Corner Chat with Baba Logi. Remember to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we upload other amazing videos. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming on the show this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate.
Yeah. Thank you
Austin,
Awesome.
for
thank
Thank
you
you
having
for
me.
so
being
much.
around.
It's really a
All right.
privilege.
Do have
Thank you very
continue to
much
have
for
an
having
amazing
me.
day. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. All right. Bye bye.
Jonathan. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.